Yo, welcome back with another case study. This one is actually a really, really special one. Welcome, Adrian. How are you, bro?
Good, bro. Kashi, thank you for having me. How are you?
Yeah, doing good, bro. Obviously, I'm just came back to Dubai, and I knew that this was a perfect time to film this case study. Just for context, Adrian, what did you actually do in commissions last month, bro?
I did 21K in commissions. Most I've ever done, which is crazy.
Jeez. And when did you start with me?
Yeah. Dude, I think I started with you like in February. Yeah, so it's been like what? How many months? January, February, March, April, 4 months. But I did that in April. So it's like 3 months from starting with you and then hitting 21K.
Yeah, sheesh. That's insane, bro. Like, I still remember
Yeah.
when I hit my first 20K a month. Like, if you go on my YouTube and you go check it out, I talk about my emotions. So, I
Yeah.
it must be sky high.
Yeah.
We'll get into all of that. We'll get into, your past experience, high ticket sales. I'm sure everyone wants to know how you got from, zero to 20K a month in such a short amount of time. So, I guess a good
Mm,
place to start would be let's go before high ticket sales, before online business, before all this stuff. Where was Adrian
yeah.
like a couple years ago? Like, paint a picture.
Bro, man, like in all honesty, man, my journey, like in the sales space before I got into the sales space was really crazy. Where do I even start, man? Put it this way, the main reason why I got into sales was because I had a surprise baby. All right, I was 23 at that time. I'm now 26. I had known my girlfriend at that time for only 3 months. So I met her 3 months later, I asked her to be my girlfriend, and then 2 days later, I found out that she was pregnant. All right, long story short, that really turned my world upside down. When I found out she was pregnant, I was still in uni, so I was in my last year of my master's degree. I did an undergraduate in biomedical science. Thought I wanted to become a doctor for the longest time, but got involved in like a few entrepreneurship startups, a few different ventures, and felt like, hey, you know what? There are better ways to actually help people. So at that time, I thought marketing was the answer. So I went into a master's of marketing. And yeah, like I said, during that period was when my girlfriend got pregnant. And I think the pregnancy, I mean, there's a lot to be said about the pregnancy, but once I actually decided that, hey, you know what, this is my new life, that really made me ask myself, like, what do I actually want? What do I actually want for the rest of my life? And at that point, I was going down a path that I genuinely just didn't see myself going down on. Like, sure, I thought I wanted to be in marketing, but 1 year in that master's degree made me realize that it's kind of a joke, right? Like everything I was learning was like just common sense. And to give you a really good idea about this, really funny, like I was really one of those students that barely show up to any of my classes,
Yeah.
um, barely put in any effort, but was still getting really, really good grades. And I remember this like group project very, very clearly. I was like not showing up, and one of my team members actually came up to me and was like, "Bro, if you don't actually start showing up, I'm gonna actually report you." And I was like, "Shit, okay, I actually need to show up." So I had like 2 weeks left before the big presentation. I learned everything that was to know about my section, and I got the highest grade in that section. So that in itself just shows how much of a joke it is. Um, and it's just crazy too. Like everything we were learning was just so outdated. I mean, a lot to be said about that, but that was really what made me went like, "Hey, look, I don't enjoy this. I'm not actually learning any great skills and looking at my future in terms of a job, working down that 9 to 5 path. Nothing wrong about that, to be honest. I actually see a lot of value and a lot of good things about the 9 to 5, but it just wasn't for me. So I had 9 months essentially to make something work, right? I could either finish my master's degree, get a degree and go down that path, or I could really just bite the bullet and say, hey, you know what? I have 9 months before the baby is born to make money and to prove to myself that, hey, I can actually support my family and still pursue my dreams at the same time.
100%.
So that was for me, like yeah, that was like the biggest push for me to say, hey, you know what? Like I need to make something work.
No, 100%.
Um,
On
so
that,
I,
I know that a lot of people
mm,
want to know, and a lot of people watching this, they'd be in like university, college, maybe even finish the undergraduate, going on to doing a master's degree, some even following medicine like yourself. Um,
Mm,
for you, you never really realized that all this was BS and you wanted this better life, you wanted to have that freedom until you had that moment of realization, right? When, you had the surprise
mm.
baby, you had to make it work, right? Why do you feel like because most uni students, they just don't even have that urgency. They don't have that realization. Why do you feel like most people just never end up actually making a change? Because a lot of uni students say the same thing, but they never actually do it. But
Mm.
you did.
No, so true, bro. So true. Like 99% of people say they want to be their own boss. They say they want these great things. They want to become entrepreneurs. They want to live life of freedom. But 99% of people can never actually push through that wall of fear to become that person. Um, and looking at all of my friends in university, they're all really, really smart people. Like 90% of them are actually way smarter than me. They're way more hardworking. But the only difference between me and them is the fact that I didn't care about what other people thought about me. And I was one of those people that would always take risks. Like even in university, I had my own YouTube channel. And I used to vlog my life at uni. And for the longest time, like a lot of people will laugh at me. Like they'll be like, bro, that's so cringe. Like, what are you doing? Like my ex-girlfriend was like my biggest hater. And she would always be like, what are you doing? You're so cringy. Um, and even in that period, like I would always tell myself, like, they just want different things. We just think very differently. So I think that was the biggest difference between someone who takes that leap of faith and the people that actually don't. It's just most people are never actually able to, first of all, think like entrepreneurs, and second of all, just be courageous enough to actually take that leap of faith because it's a scary feeling. Like I was scared. It's there's a lot of uncertainty in this path that you and I have gone down on, and most people are never able to actually do that, right? Um, yeah. So I think that is kind of what pushed me. Did I answer the question?
No, that was good. That was a good insight because I see it all the time that everyone just stays in the same spot. But I think from an outsider's point of view, if I'm looking at your journey, I think it's really like
Mm,
I think of university as I like to call it like la la land, right? Everything is fine. You
mm,
basically most of the time live with your parents or you have everything paid for you, all your expenses there. You're just learning stuff out of curiosity. Education is a privilege, right? It's fun. It's you don't do
mm,
much. You just sit there and listen, right? However,
yeah,
like for you, you had a taste of the real world with like, the surprise baby. You had to make it work. You actually had to provide now. You have to make an income.
yeah,
And then reality hit you really, really hard. And I feel like what happens in university is people don't hit reality until like 8 years or 10 years. And then it finally hits.
yeah.
And then they just don't know what to do.
Dude, that's so true. Like there's that you saying that actually reminds me of a certain thing. I remember like when I was when like the week after I found out about it, I was driving in my friend's car and he was a dentist. So he was studying to become a dentist. And if like someone in that degree, like they're set because they know their path. But the majority of people in university who aren't studying medicine, engineering, law, and are following more of like more of the, I guess, the gray area of university, which was what I was in marketing. Like you don't actually realize how unskilled you are until you leave university. Because at that point, I literally asked myself, like, okay, like if I were to actually leave university now with the skill set that I have, which at that time was just marketing and like videography, which I didn't learn in university, I was like, how can I actually make money? And the answer was literally nothing. I didn't have an answer. I was like, I was looking back at all my years in university and I was like, I haven't actually learned anything to make money other than just getting a job, like at some random company where I just be a number or I'd be just doing like some task. Yeah, it just didn't really make sense. Like I actually just realized how unskilled I was. Like I didn't have any high income skills.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head, bro. It's very similar. It's funny how you say group projects and stuff because I think I've talked about this before, but for me personally, I did university for around 6 months, and I was doing one of the top degrees in the country in terms.
Didn't you get like a 99 ATAR, bro?
Yeah, it was like I didn't get it in my year 12. However, I got into a course that required like a 98, 99 ATAR, and I was set for life. It was
Yeah.
like something where it was a guaranteed job. I would have been the top. Basically, I was a mechanical engineer, and I would have been the top mechanical engineer in my city if I graduated from that.
Mm,
And yeah, I remember the first week I went in and it just wasn't what I was expecting. It was just not everything I worked for, all the smartness that I had, all that just to sit at a desk and be so unskilled. Like you said, I didn't really have a money making skill, right? So that
Hmm.
makes a lot of sense. And so
Yeah.
you have 9 months to make it. Walk us through like that journey of 9 months. You've decided that this is what you're gonna do. What did that look like?
Yeah, so my situation was a little bit unique because, um, first of all, I was an international student in Australia. So at that time, I was still on my like student visa. So I couldn't just say, hey, you know what, I'm leaving. Because then I'd actually be deported from the country. So I had to continue studying. And on top of that, I have a very strict Asian dad who was like, I don't care whether you're pregnant. I don't care what's going on. You are going to graduate with a degree. I don't care. Right. So it was a very unique situation. So, um, I even told my dad, I was like, you know, when I first found out, I was like, hey, don't worry. Like, I'll go work FIFO. Like, I'll work in the mines. I'll make good money. Like, don't worry about my future. I got a handle. He was like, no, like, you're going to just graduate from university. This is going to help you out. So, and that was like a must for him. Um, at that time, I didn't even have a real job. So he was like financially providing for me. So I was like, okay, you know what? Whatever. All right. If you want me to finish university, I'll go ahead and do that. So I knew I had 9 months that I would still be in university. Because I had to anyways, because of my visa and my dad. So in that period, I was like, okay, I'm gonna like go to university, but at the same time, I'm gonna try start my own business to like actually start making money. So at that time, the only skill, quote unquote, skill that I had was videography. Because I had my YouTube channel, which was honestly super average. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start my own SMMA agency, right? I'm gonna target Pilates studios in the city of Perth. Um, I compiled like a whole list of all these different Pilates studios in my area, and I started cold calling all of them. And halfway through, like 1 week goes by, I realized, what the hell am I doing? Like, I have no idea how to sell. I have no idea how to talk to these people on the phone. And for some crazy reason, if one of these people would agree to get on a meeting with me, then what? Right? So I realized I was like, I have no skill. I need to actually learn sales. So that was when I actually found out about this like program that one of these dudes was selling in the city of Perth. Like he was from Perth and he's selling like this sales program. Long story short, it was like really, really average, maybe even bad program. Like I didn't learn a lot from it. But the only good thing that came out of that was the owner of that program saw how hardworking I was, and he actually hired me for his own offer. And that was the very first offer I got on, and that was where most of my experience is built. Yeah.
100%. And a lot of people have similar experiences with SMMA marketing agency. It was one of the first things that I tried, right? So a lot of people, it would be their first business because it's so common. Why do you feel like SMMA it didn't work out for you? Or like in general, now looking back, now that you have so much perspective, and I know
Yeah.
your take on it, but I'd love to know yours. What's your take on like SMMA and why it didn't work out for you and why most people shouldn't start with that?
Yeah, really good question, man. It's because you're trying to master like 20 different skill sets at once. There's service delivery, there's client acquisition, there's sales, there's marketing, there's so many different things. And if you're a beginner trying to master something like that, you're bound for failure, right? So my advice to anyone starting out and to anyone watching this video is you have to master one skill set. You have to become a master at that. And then you can start thinking about diversifying your skill set. So for me, it was sales. And, being in the industry for about 1 year now, I see that sales is literally the foundation of every single business. If you know sales, you can start in any business. Like you can be dropped in any business environment and you will succeed because you know how to sell.
Exactly. That was
So
a
to answer your question, yeah, there's just too many different skill sets going on with SMMA. You got to master one.
that was the exact same thought process I had. Like master one skill, get
Mm.
really, really good at it. And when I tried SMMA, I made $0. I don't think I had any success, and I stuck at it for 4 months.
Same.
Believe it didn't work, and it's not that it doesn't work. It's just that I was nowhere near the skill set level at 18, fresh out of not even
Mm.
completing a degree, right? So
Yeah.
cool. So you go through that sales program, you find an offer on your own, or like you said, you got a little bit lucky and you got to sell for the founder. Walk us through your experience
Mm.
then, and then how you came across me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. So, I mean, we have a very interesting and unique path because I'll get into that, but you and I were actually selling on the same offer. So I actually saw you also as a beginner transform into this dude that was like, now one of the top dogs in the space. And for me to see that, like, I think that was one of the biggest reasons I invested in you, but we'll get into that. But yes, once I actually joined that company, um, I was really, really blessed to have like really good leadership because the owner of that company, he was a really great guy and he poured a lot of his energy, a lot of his training into me. So I was actually really blessed because the training that he provided me was a lot, and that was actually where I developed most of my sales skills. Um, and you probably can say the same. Like that was a really good launch pad for you. He invested in Temple Mailer into us to come and review our calls here and there. So that was really, really big. But it was tough, dude. Like I started off as a setter, that. And my first 6 months in the industry were brutal. I was working like 10 to 12-hour days, 6 days a week. And keep in mind, I had a wife and a child. And I think for me, that was like a really tough period for me because I was also making barely any money. So I was working 6 days a week, 10 to 12-hour days. I was literally only making like two to 4K. 4K was considered like a really, really good month for me.
I remember.
So in all, like on average, I think I was making like 2.5 to 3K every single month, despite working 12-hour days, 6 days a week. And for me as a dad, right, that was really, really hard because, I'd be in my room doing these dials. Meanwhile, I can hear my wife, my kid, like, crying, screaming, like it sounds like a circus is going on out there. There are so many times I literally just asked myself, what the hell am I doing? Like I felt like a horrible dad. My wife was putting in so much effort and here I was working hard, but not really seeing the fruits of my labor. So there were so many times in that 6 months where I literally asked myself, you know what? I, I think it's time to call it quits. But with that being said, that's why I give a lot of my credit, like a lot of the credit of my success to my wife, because she was the one that was like, hey, you know what? Just stay with it. Like, I believe in you. It's okay. I got Levi covered. You do your thing. You work hard. You'll get there. So having her support was like really, really massive for me, but it was tough, bro. I call it the dark days.
The trenches, 100%. And then obviously you saw,
Yeah, dude.
right? Like I had a mentor and I invested in one-on-one mentor, like I mentioned a lot of
Mm,
times, and you didn't really have like a
mm,
proper one-on-one mentor,
mm.
kind of just winging it on your own.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like you didn't make the money that you make? Because obviously I went on to do better things and you saw me grow and make more and more money. Like walk me through
Yeah.
that.
Now that's really good, man. Like, yeah, I never actually really had a mentor outside of my boss, which was honestly a huge disadvantage because I didn't know anything else. I didn't know what was possible outside of that company I was working in. Right. So, you came to the company, you were like fresh into sales as well. I think you were in there, like, you were like closing for maybe a few months before me. Um, and I saw you literally go from like making the same amount of money, like 4K per month to like 50K per month. And that was like, for me, I was like, what the hell is he doing differently? Like, what the hell is he doing to get 50K that I'm not doing? And I'm stuck literally making like 2 to 3K per month. It pissed me off. Um, and I think the biggest thing was, how they say your network is your net worth? That was like seriously so true. Um, because I never had a mentor, I literally didn't know what was possible. Genuinely. And I think you remember this. I was telling you so many times, like, bro, if I can just make 6K per month, like, I'd be so happy. Like 6K per month was my goal that time. 6K per month is what I'm making now in a week, right? Like, we're aiming for 40, 50K per month. And the only reason I'm thinking about this right now is because, I'm constantly surrounded with guys like you. And through you, you've introduced me to so many other people younger than me that are like doing so much more, like so much better than me financially. And for me, that was really huge. Like having a mentor to be able to hold me accountable and say like, bro, 6K per month? Like what the hell? Like that's so low. Like that's so doable. You got to aim higher. And for me, that was huge. Because, talking to you, seeing what's doable, what's capable, what's achievable, it's like really massive.
Yeah, 100%. I
Yeah.
actually thought it was really interesting because for me, I never experienced winging it on my own. Like, I got into high ticket sales, like, I invested in a mentor and I never did it on my own. Like, the thought didn't really come across my mind. I just
Mm.
went all in and I had a mentor from the start, which is the reason why I got to where I am really, really fast, right? Um,
Mm.
and that's why I
Actually, dude,
asked you.
to,
There you go.
to add on to that too, right? It was like I was a hard worker
Yeah.
and like I was willing to put in the work, but I just didn't know where to put my efforts into. Like I didn't know the input, So I think that was really, really big for me as well, like investing in you. Like you kind of gave me like the blueprint, like the inputs to consistently, like, how to put this? It's like, if you do XYZ, you will get X result. Immediately, I knew where to focus my energy into. And that was like massive. Because before that, I didn't have any of that stuff. I was just blindly cold outreach, like all this outdated tactics, just stupid shit.
Yeah, I remember, bro. I remember our conversation, so it makes sense. And yeah, coming to
Yeah.
what I was saying, it's because I've never really like known what it feels like to just wing it on your own, and I got some good understanding from you on what it felt like. But that's why I always say this, and this is where I see this high ticket space moving, is it's getting more and more, not saturated, but more and more people are knowing about high ticket sales, which means that in high ticket sales, you can make the most amount of money that's ever been made. For example, 2 years ago, like when I started off in high ticket sales, making 40, 50K a month, that was not common. Like that was really rare, to be honest. It was very rare making 40, 50K a month. But fast track now, like nowadays, making 40, 50K a month, like it's very doable. Like it's very possible. And even making six figures a month with high ticket sales and more,
Mm.
the opportunities are getting higher and higher. However, and you'll know this, Adrian, because now you've been in this industry and you have access to the network. There's so many people that just don't have a mentor or just are winging it, just doing cold DMs, cold
Mm.
outreach, watching YouTube videos and hoping to somehow succeed, that are at the bottom. And I'd say the people that are actually in high ticket sales, it's like 10%. It's a very small circle, that's up here that are actually making the money to be made, right? And it's a very, very
Yeah.
large circle of people just winging it. And I see it all the time.
Mm. Yeah. 100%, dude. Like we've reached a stage in the industry where there is
Right.
such a need for
Yeah.
there's so many high ticket closers in the space, but so few that are actually skilled, that are actually good and can actually deliver. So there's actually a really, really big need for like really good closers, but there just aren't enough because you're right. There's so many idiots out there that think they can do it themselves, just like me. Um,
Yeah.
and they don't invest in a mentor. It's like, bro, if you want to get to where you want to be, the best way to get there is by following someone who's literally done that, right? Been there, done that. That was the biggest thing for me. Again, I saw you go from like making the same amount of money and within 3 months start making like 50K per month. I was like, what the heck? Like, what is he doing that I can just replicate and do as well? So that was why I invested in you, and boom, dude, 3 months, 20K is like normal now.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We're pushing 30, 40. But yeah, that just goes to show. I know it sounds so corny, right? Like, and you always see it on like these Instagram reels and like, especially nowadays, people just hate courses or hate certain mentorships and things like that. It sounds so corny. It pisses me off, but it's so true. Like, you have to
It
invest in,
pisses me off. It pisses me off.
yeah. I feel sorry. I
Like
feel
seeing people, yeah, yeah, bro. Seeing people shit on courses pisses me off because it's so valuable, bro.
exactly, right? And like, I'm not saying that, everything and everyone out there is the best. However, if investing in someone that you trust, someone that you want to be like, someone that will going to give you one-on-one attention, like Adrian looked at my journey and saw me go literally from zero to, 40, 50K a month, it's a no-brainer. If you're not doing it, you're just literally stabbing yourself, right?
You
So,
know what's crazy, bro?
here you go.
It's like I was paying what international tuition fees for uni, like what was that, 60K per year? 60K per year, bro, for a job that had literally no bloody guarantees, no skills. I learned absolutely nothing. Right? Even in my undergraduate biomedical science, like, you know what's crazy, bro? This is crazy, right? I had a friend in my university degrees in biomed, right? She was like one of the top students. She was like really, really smart. She graduated. And anyways, like 3 months passed. I bring my baby into the hospital. She's working as an admin. She went through 3 years of education, biomedical science, paid so much money to become a freaking clerk, an admin. What kind of skills do they teach you? So people are paying 60K per year to invest in a university with no guarantees, and people are shitting on like what 3K for a course that can actually teach you genuine high income skills. It blows my mind. It genuinely blows my mind. Like I'm living proof of that.
100%, bro. It blows my mind. It makes perfect sense. And so you come into this, you invest in a mentorship, and you've never invested in a mentor before. Like bear in mind, so you started with me in February, just a couple months ago. How did that feel when you first invested in a mentor? Like walk with me through the feelings, because I remember very vividly what mine felt like fear, nerves, excitement. Like what did it feel like?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I mean, for you, it was a little bit different because I personally knew, so there was a lot of that trust that was built already.
Like,
And again, I saw where you started and I saw where you went. So for me, it was like a no-brainer. But I'll be completely honest, bro. I remember investing in you, right? And I was telling Zane, my wife, and I was like, babe, like, I don't know if I made the right decision. Like, Hashi's great, but I don't know, like, if he can actually like genuinely coach me or like help me. So there was actually a little bit still of uncertainty in terms of like, can this man actually help me get to where he's been? But I mean, where are we now?
I remember when you
So obviously it panned out, but yeah,
you told me your goals, and your goal was to hit a 20K a month. You specifically said, I want to hit 20K a month in exactly, or 20 to 30K in exactly 3 months. And we lived,
2 months. Yeah, it was like, yeah,
right?
that was crazy. Actually, I actually forgot that, bro. That was insane. Like, I literally told myself, hey, bro, we need to make 20K. Because actually, yeah, like I reached a stage in kind of my sales journey where I was making good money, like 12, 15K. But it was at the cost of so much of like my soul, bro, so much of my energy. And I was like, at this stage, I was like, dude, like I need to at least hit these big numbers by X amount of time, or else like I'm gonna lose a lot of faith. And we really did it. So that was pretty sick, bro. Honestly, thinking back.
And like, when you actually came in and, you got mentorship and that sort of things, what specifically was it about what I did that made you feel like this is different? Like, why do you feel like you got
Mm,
the results that you did? Like, cause I'm sure a lot of people
yeah,
know because they've had past bad experiences and things like that. What actually stood out for you when you
yeah,
actually came in?
yeah, bro. I mean, obviously, on top of your existing skill set and like all the things that you have to offer, you care, bro. Like, there are not a lot of mentors out there that actually care about their students, right? They'll message them, ask them about their goals, ask them about their family. How can you actually help them achieve what they want to achieve? Because at the end of the day, money is just a vehicle. I think it's rare to have coaches that actually care about you as a person. And for me, I think I really appreciated you genuinely wanting to help me succeed. So that's in terms of like the care that I was receiving for you. But in terms of skill wise, I think the main thing I got from you was just your network. Because all the other high tech coaches in the space right now, they'll know that one of the hardest things about this industry is finding an offer that can actually make you a lot of money. Um, so being mentored by you is like very, like super helpful. It's the biggest thing. Like for you to just, say, hey, yeah, like this person is working this offer. He's making this much per month, or hey, this person is like working on this offer. You should connect with him. Like he's really, really, he's a really good name in the space. Go be friends with him. And it's crazy too, because I freaking hate networking.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I,
I hate the idea of, right, like being friends with someone just for the sake of like getting something from them. But again, you kind of helping me change the way I see that was huge for me. But yeah, so to summarize that, you care and you're very connected and obviously very skilled.
I remember you specifically told me this is like before you invested in me and stuff. While you saw my journey while I was on the old offer with you. I remember you specifically said, "Bro, does
Yeah,
networking really work? Does networking actually work? Like it seems so simple. It seems so corny. It seems so basic. Does it
yeah,
actually work?" I specifically remember you telling me, and I was like, "Bro, it works. It works. It works." And um, it was
yeah,
cool to see that transition, bro. But yeah, just to add my take on that, the offer and opportunity that you're on is going to dictate the amount of money that you make. It's as simple as that. It sounds controversial, but it's as simple as that. Any sales
mhm,
coach and guru online that tells you that you need to be the best possible person at sales, yeah, it's important, but no matter how good you are at sales, if the opportunity that you want is not going to make you the money that you want to make, it's just not going to work, right? No matter how good you are at sales,
yeah,
what comes first is the opportunity. For example, the offer that Adrian was on was an opportunity where it makes sense to make, 20, 30, maybe even more than that, right? And he has like so many more offers in the pipeline that he can jump on after this that can get him to, 30, 40, 50K a month. And then you can learn your sales skills, and then you can get really, really good at the actual skill set itself. But what are your thoughts on that, bro? Like offer versus skill?
yeah. You're spot on, man. Like, okay, put it this way. You can be on the best offer, but if you're a shit sales rep, you're still not going to make any money. Um, and I think recently we've just seen that, right? With some of the people that we know, like completely fresh green on the same offer as me. Like I'm making 20K. Meanwhile, this other person is like on the verge of being fired. Now, with that being said, you can have the best skills in the entire world. You can be freaking Bill Walsh, you can be Matt Ryder, but if you're an offer where you're constantly speaking to broke ass people and you have like zero leads in your calendar, how are you going to make money? Like it's impossible, right? So offer is so much more important than skill. Like you can be an average rep on an amazing lay down offer and you be making 50, 60K per month, which is a lot of people that we know right now. And you can be like a very, very skilled rep on a shitty offer and you'll be in the exact same position that I was in. I mean, think about it, right? I was on that offer, zero skill change. I was making like 2 to 3K per month. One offer switch, I went from making 2 to 3K to 15K per month. Another offer switch, I went from making 10 to 15K to now 30K per month just because of this offer switch.
Yeah, exactly. It was the same skill. I've watched your calls. It was the exact same skills. Like, yeah, of course you've improved. Like, not like you haven't improved, but the improvement
Yeah.
to the offer change is, yeah, it's insane. And another thing that I see in
Yeah.
the industry, and I don't want to drop any names, but I see a lot of like not these cults, but these groups forming of people just like looking down on people that prioritize offer compared to skill, and it's like looked at as weak for some reason, which is super weird. It makes no sense. But basically, what happens is like these sales coaches and people in the space is they promote so much sales skills, sales skills, sales skills. They're like, if you don't work hard, if you don't do 12 hours a day, if you don't do this many dials, if you don't do cold calling first before you go to setting, if you don't do self-setting appointments, if you don't work 16 hours a day, then you're not a high ticket closer, right? I see a lot of these beliefs, and a lot of young guys tend to fall into that frame, and they don't realize that there's nothing wrong with working smart, because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
your income is going to dictate where you're going to be in life, right? Your income, your time freedom, your location freedom is going to dictate where you want to be. And I've always been that guy. I've never been
Yeah.
the guy to work super, super hard. I've always been the guy to work like smart, um, and just like navigate through different vehicles, right? I see it a lot in this space.
No, for sure. For sure, bro. Like,
You know what I'm talking
in
about.
fact, I'm 100%, dude. Like, I have different priorities now. I literally have a 2-year-old son. I have a wife. I don't want to be working 12-hour days, 7 days a week. So I don't actually work weekends, which is kind of like a red flag in this industry. Like, if you don't work weekends, you're a lazy piece of shit, right? But the way I combat that is, bro, I'm not working weekends, but I'm still top of the leaderboard. Like, you know that I'm the top of the leaderboard because my closing percentage is so high. Because again, the beautiful thing about this industry is that you're not rewarded by how hard you're working. You're rewarded by the value that you provide. So that's something I really love about that. But to touch on what you said, you're exactly right. I see so many like coaches out there that kind of shit on people like me and you, I guess. But it's just marketing. They're just trying to sell their program, which I respect. but it's just not true. Like, again, skills is very, very important. It's very, very important. But no matter how skilled you are, if you're not in the proper offer, you're not going to make money, period.
Yeah, I remember. And like what are like princess closers or princess sales reps, right? It's like I hear that term so much. It's just
Yeah.
it's ridiculous, bro. And so
Yeah.
walk me through. So obviously you started in February, and then you said you wanted to hit that goal of 20K a month, and then you hit it. I remember like your thoughts a little bit, but when you hit that first 20K month, how did it actually feel?
Yeah.
Like walk me through the emotions when you actually hit it. What actually changed? A lot of people would love to know. What actually changed?
Bro, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And yeah, like I know I don't know if you're not Christian, but I'm Christian. And for me, it was like, it just made me realize how greedy I was as an individual. Cause, for so long, I was telling myself, once I hit that 20K per month mark, like, that's it. Like, I'm top G, I'm top shit. But the moment I hit it, it's this crazy feeling of I literally didn't feel anything different. And the crazy part is now, like, I'm looking at 50K per month. When I was making 2 to 3K per month, I always think to myself, like, damn, like, how can these people making 50K per month, 100K per month? Like, what? But now that I'm here, I really get it. It's like, it's a very, easy thing to do once you're at the top, which kind of proves my point about how your network is your network. Because once you're surrounded by people making 50K per month, it just normalizes it. It's like so normal. Like making 20K per month now is so normal, and making 100K per month is like now the new goal. But I did feel a little bit excited for like 5 minutes. I remember getting my first close, the close that put me over 20K per month, and I was actually walking on the street. So I was at a shopping mall, and a follow-up payment came through, and I hit 20K per month. And I was like, babe, I just hit 20K per month. Like, let's freaking go. Should we go to Cartier right now? But but after like 5 minutes, went to the grocery store, got out eggs, and went home, and life just got back to normal, man.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And I know for me it was the exact same feeling, right? I felt really, really good about it. I've made a YouTube video on it, right? I felt really good about it for a solid couple hours. I stayed up the whole night. I was so giddy that I hit 20. And then life went back to normal, and I just did the exact same thing, right? But apart from obviously the number itself, making 2 to 3K a month and going 20K a month, bro, it does change a lot for you, like lifestyle wise. Traveling, expenses, not worrying about bills. I know you mentioned that a couple of times to me. What actually changed for you physically in that aspect?
Yeah, really good question. And I just want to preface this by saying your income does not represent you as a person, right? You can be making 2 to 3K per month. You are not any less than a person who's making 20K per month. I just want to make that very, very clear.
100%.
Obviously this is an interview, so I'm very, very proud of myself to hit that achievement. But yeah, the same things I was telling myself when I was making 2 to 3K a month, that 2 to 3K per month are the exact same things I tell myself now that I'm making 20K per month. But in terms of lifestyle, it's really great. I mean, in all honesty, there hasn't been like a huge increase because I'm still quite a conservative person. But the main thing is like just being proud, right? Because when I was making 2 to 3K per month, my dad was paying my rent. Okay, because I genuinely couldn't pay for rent. I had no proper job. I was working in a freaking restaurant flipping burgers, so I couldn't pay for my rent. My father-in-law was paying for like baby stuff, and that was like a freaking shitty feeling as a dad, bro. Like, can you imagine? You get this girl pregnant unexpectedly, and then the father is paying for the baby shit. Do you know how embarrassing that is? That's so embarrassing. So for the longest time, I felt like a really big loser and like a disappointment. So for me to finally like actually provide for my own family, pay for my mother-in-law, like pay for her meals. I bought her a flight to go to Singapore. I paid for my mom went to China. I just sent her like 2K. Here's like spending money. I go out for my dad now. I pay for like meals and shit. That feels so good. So there's no like crazy lifestyle change. Like I'm not in first class or anything like that. But just being able to be the provider is just a really, really nice feeling. You know, being able to take Levi to the toy store and be like, just get the toy, whatever, or not be able to check like the bills for um like food. And my friend who's been like my absolute day one, who was like when I was in the trenches, he was like one of the guys who was like, dude, keep going. He came to Malaysia for the weekend. I paid for his hotels, I paid for all of his food. And the only reason I could do that was because I was making more money now. So again, no crazy lifestyle change, but it's just like the little things that was huge for me that just kind of increased my confidence. And yeah, it was nice, man.
That's so sick, bro. That's so sick. It's so much better than buying a I don't know M4 or whatever car most people get these days, right? So yeah, it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It's all the little things that happen for sure. Sweet, bro. And so, you've hit 20K, right? What do the next steps look like? Let's say another, even end of year, like what do your goals actually look like? You never know, you might be coming back. I don't know.
Oh man, dude. Like I said, it's kind of scary, but 20K per month now is like really great, and I don't like underappreciate 20K or anything less than that, but we're just shooting for higher. But I think more so it's lifestyle.
Mm,
Um, I want to be making more money but working less. So again, that comes with an offer switch, right? Where can I work now that will allow me to make more money but working less hard? Um, so yeah, I think for the next year, that's going to be like my main priority. How can I make more money but working less hard? And keep in mind though, and this is going to be crazy to say, and especially for people that are working like 9 to 5s and stuff, I made 20K by working like 2 to 3 hours per day. Like, remember that day I hit 3K? I did that in 2 hours,
yeah. And guys, that's not like
like
yes or anything.
making
Like,
3K in 2 hours.
it's genuinely like 2 to 3 hours. I'm like all against being authentic and lifestyle, and it's hard to get sales is not sitting on a beach and drinking like cocktails, right? It's not that. But in Adrian's case, it's genuinely like, yeah, what, couple hours a day, 3, 4 hours a day, making 20K a month, and not working weekends, right? Um,
Yeah. I mean, dude, let's think about it though. I worked my ass off
yeah, you did.
all before that to be able to have the skill set to now say, hey, I know I can make X amount of money in X hours. Before that, that wasn't the case because of shit I was doing. I didn't have the skills. But now that I'm still, I know that I'm going to get on 4 calls, these two. So if you're on the sidelines thinking about, hey, should I invest in a mentor? Should I get into this industry? This should piss you off. You should do it. Okay.
That's so awesome, bro. Yeah, that comes back to my question. Like, obviously there'll be a lot of people that listen to this, and I was there at one point. You were there at one point, watching like interviews like this. And you still sat on the sidelines, or you still were on the side, and you didn't go all in. What advice would you actually give to someone that's watching this right now, that's listening to everything you're saying, and that's still scared or still skeptical or still nervous? Because you've been there, bro, right? So you can speak from firsthand experience. Like, what advice would you give?
Oh man, bro, here's the advice I'll give. And I say this on every single one of my calls with people that were exactly in the same position as me, right? Looking to invest in your first mentor. 99% of people say they want to be successful entrepreneurs. They say they want to make 20K per month, have financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. But 99% of people are never able to actually think like entrepreneurs, act like entrepreneurs, make decisions like entrepreneurs, and push through that wall of fear to become that person, right? So who do you want to be? Do you want to be a part of the 99% of people that constantly, listen to their fears and are unable to push through that wall of fear? Or do you want to be part of that 1% that can be that person? Do what it takes to become that person. Who do you want to be? So if you're on the sidelines thinking about this right now, ask yourself that important question. Who do you want to be? You don't just become an entrepreneur. You just don't become that person by thinking you want to become that person. You become that person by constantly proving to yourself that you are him And the way you do that is by you think like that person, you act like that person, and you do what it takes to become that person. Right? That's what I gotta say to you shums on the sidelines thinking about it.
No, makes sense, bro. Makes sense. But here's the thing. I know I've been there. I've been that guy. But people will watch this and be like, is high ticket sales a scam? I see this happen so much. Is high ticket sales a scam? Is this a
Bro,
good scheme? What do you have to say to that, bro? I mean, yeah. What do you have to say?
dude, it's so funny, bro. So funny. To answer that question, let me tell you a story, okay? An old friend from high school, who's seen how like successful I've been.
It's always
It's
high
always the fucking high school guys, man.
school.
Dude, yeah. He reached out to me and was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, I wanna get into it. So we set up a Zoom meeting. I wasn't like really close with him anyways, but I was like, you know what, I'll help this guy out. Walked him through everything that I do, and I don't hear back from him. And then I hear from another one of my friends who were mutual friends with me. It's like, oh yeah, I felt like it was a pyramid scheme. And I was like, what the like, how did anything I say come off as it being a pyramid scheme? And I thought about it and I reevaluated our whole conversation. And again, right, like the reason why 99% of people stay where they're at is because they're so close-minded that anything that's different to them, anything that's like out of the ordinary is immediately like scam, scam, scam. But to answer your question, is high ticket sales a scam? Bro, no. Right? Like you go to a freaking car dealership, there's a salesman over there. He sells the car, he gets a percentage of whatever he sells. Is he a scammer? No. Is that an MLM? No. Is that a pyramid scheme? No. In the same way, you as a high ticket closer, you're simply selling a product or a service to an individual. Like how in the world is that a freaking scam? There's no levels to it. It's not like pyramid scheme. It's not an MLM where there's like different levels where we're recruiting different people. I mean, are there people out there that are scammers and are like MLMers? 100%. But like 99% of the people that are legitimately in the true high ticket sales space, dude, it's not a freaking scam. And if you think you're a scam, then dude, go back to whatever you're doing. I don't really care. Stay broke.
Top G Adrian. Top G Adrian. No, it makes sense. Like, if we're being real, that makes a lot of sense. To be honest, and it's like I look at it and I have no pity. Like, I don't have a lot of empathy anymore because I've gone so past that. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't seem real. When anyone says something's a scam, I'm like, just doesn't make sense, you know. And coming back to people from high school, usually what blows my mind is everyone will do the thing and like will go into like, for example, trading and some weird AI bots and everything, and they'll go all into the things that are actually scams, that are actually MLM schemes, that are actually scams. But the one thing that's actually legitimate, that actually works, but requires hard work, requires you to put your time into it, most people just end up not doing it because it's hard. It seems like a scam, right?
Yeah, bro.
100%.
Yeah, it's like I've gone a few conversations with people, right? Again, people from like high school or uni, and they're like, "Oh, like, do you feel like isn't that like a scam?" And I'm like, "What makes you say that?" And they're like, "Oh, like, does it actually work? Or, like what you're doing, you're working like X amount of hours, but you're only like, getting X result." I'm like, bro, you go to university, you put in so much work and so much money, and like so many people graduate from university but still don't even have jobs. Do you think university is a scam? They're like, no. And I'm like, same shit, right? Like, just because it doesn't work or just because it doesn't work for some people doesn't mean it's a scam. And just because it's hard, it doesn't mean it's a scam. It's just so crazy, man. But again, we can't help these people. We genuinely can't help these people. And you're right. I don't even try to entertain it anymore. It's because 99% of people are just really stuck in their ways. And that's exactly why they're going to just continue what they're doing, which is perfectly okay. I don't really care.
It should piss you off. Like, for example, me and Adrian talk so many times, and like if even in Dubai, like over here, when I go hang out with friends or people that are doing the same thing that I do, or at a high level, or at these networking events, and we're sitting down at a nice restaurant, like we're just going to be laughing at you. I know that sounds really bad, but if anyone says anything about it, it's just like we're just laughing on the other side. It just makes no sense, right? It's like we're looking at it from up here, right? While you're still figuring out if everything's real. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I think that was a really, really good conversation, to be honest. I think you guys got a lot. If you guys got a lot of value out of that, let me know. I can bring Adrian again when he hits, 30, 40, 50K a month, and we'll do another one. But guys, it just goes to show that if you actually put in the work, you actually put in the time, you put in the effort, anything is possible. Right? Adrian is a perfect example of that. I am a perfect example of that. And just go check out the YouTube channel. There's so many more people, right? They're all a perfect example of that. Any final words, Adrian, that you want to say?
Again, guys, if you're sitting in the sidelines thinking, hey, should I invest in Kashi? Should I find a mentor? Is this real? Is this not? Stop thinking, stop overanalyzing everything and just start doing, right? Like, again, for those of you that know me personally, I'm not like the most intelligent person. I'm not special in any way. I'm just literally an action taker and I don't really care what other people think. So stop thinking about it. Start doing. Anyways, Kashi, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for having me on here. Yeah, let's hit 50K now.